Hey, what is up guys? How's it going? This is Furgie here, back from A Squad Gaming, and today we take another look at Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Now, as you all know, I've dropped a Major Changes video as well as the First Looks video, but before we get into the actual guides for this game, I've been meaning to make a few videos that are really going to help you all in more specific places. Now, some of these may involve combat, some of them may involve specific missions, or finding specific objects, separate from the guides, but this one in particular is going to be based around making as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, right when you get into the game, and what to pay attention to as far as savings goes, as far as where you should put your money in specific upgrades, and things like that, because these can all be very important and affect your in-game later in the game, because if you don't have as much money, things will be a lot more difficult. You won't be able to get as good of gear, so it's very important to pace yourself and not only invest in your gear and things like that and treasure maps and stuff, but to also invest in specific upgrades that may seem like they're going to cost a lot, but they're really going to pay off a lot in the long run. And really that's the whole point of this video, is to talk about investments as well as a few other activities you can get involved in a little bit later in the game, sequence 4 or 5, in order to make yourself a lot more money, because these are also very important and they're very, very easy. Now let's talk a little bit about our safe in the train. Now in the train, in the middle car, or the second to the front car, we have a small safe which generates income every half hour. This income is important because this money we earn can be used for everything else that we can spend money on. And there are some skills that you can purchase in specific areas that are they're going to increase the amount of money that comes into this safe and increase the maximum capacity of the safe to make it much more efficient and useful. Now the main tree we're going to look at here is under the gang upgrades tree, and it is the swindler tree. Now, there are 3 specific ones in here. The very far to the left isn't as important. It just works on a couple of your items, your objects that you can upgrade, your hallucinogenic darts, I believe, and your voltaic bombs. Both still very good upgrades, but the main ones we want to focus on here are these first 3. Now, the first one starts with Pub Investor, and what these do, all of these upgrades in this tier right here, increase the maximum income you get every 30 minutes, as well as increase the maximum capacity of the safe every 30 minutes. Well, not every 30 minutes, just overall. You're going to be getting more money, you're going to be getting it faster, and you're going to have more room for a lot more money. Now, you can get up to a massive amount of income if you get all of these upgrades. They may seem very expensive, but the return value is very, very good, and honestly I think it's one of the most worth it upgrades that you can buy in any of these 3 trees. The second one we look at here starts with Ale Heist and leads up to eventually the ability to increase the amount of income you're getting in your safe by 25% overall. So it's going to take whatever you're getting normally, upgrade it by 25%, and that's what you're going to have coming in. Now that can be exponential if you have many of the upgrades unlocked in the previous tier, which is why rate of income is such an important upgrade to have. And the third tree we have starts with Black Market Affiliation. This is going to decrease the cost of bullets and throwing knives from shops by, I believe, 25%, which is very good. These are the most expensive things to purchase except for medicine. Honestly, I wouldn't suggest buying them anyway. I would suggest just picking them up from people. The second one is going to basically be the exact same thing except for gear and weapons, and the final upgrade is basically a complete takeover in London, and it's going to decrease the price by a specific percentage on all of these other gang upgrades. So if you can get the Takeover London perk as quick as possible, you're going to be a lot better off. Now let's talk a little bit about our associates, the first of which being Ned Weiner. Now you can find Ned in the central train station in the city of London around the 4th or the 5th sequence, and all you need to do is talk to him, and he's going to open up a lot of special activities for you to participate in. Many of these are going to make you a lot of money, and I would just suggest getting this out of the way, because he doesn't have any quests or anything like that. Just straight up talk to him and you'll be able to move on from that. Our second associate is Robert Topping, and what you're going to do is you're going to find him in the kind of northern area of Whitechapel, and he's going to unlock fight clubs and lap races, which are as they sound. They're a lot of fun. They can make you a lot of money as well. We'll go a little bit in depth here with all the things we unlocked with all of our associates in a moment. Just keep in mind that if you talk to these guys as soon as possible, as early as their little symbols are unlocked, it's going to be an N on your map in the hexagon thing, and an R or a T on your map in the hexagon thing for Robert Topping. As soon as you talk to them, you'll be able to unlock all of these extra things to do. They're going to give you a lot more free time activities to participate in, as well as give you a lot more money once you start participating. So I would just suggest getting these out of the way as soon as possible. That way you have a lot more to do in your free time instead of getting bored looking for collectibles and questing. Now, first of all, we'll talk about Robert Topping's activities, the first of which is Fight Club. Now, these are, as they sound, it's basically Fight Club, but there are several of these locations around the city, and several of them have different difficulties than others. And what you're going to do is there are 5 rounds involved. you're going to beat some ass in the first round, and then if you feel comfortable going into the second one, you're going to continue. You can always drop out and take the earnings that you've made already, but if you continue and lose, you won't be making anything. So make sure that you're confident in moving up the level and the amount of opponents you're going to be facing every round, and that's really how these operate. Some of them are very, very difficult and started around level 6 or 7 or even 8, and some of them start at level 2. So I would just suggest doing all of them. You can unlock some really cool cane swords from him and a very cool schematic at the end. So just work with Robert Topping, do the fights. I'm going to give you a little example of here of moving on in a fight when you think you're too confident but you're really not. Keep in mind, you cannot use medicine in any of these fights, so don't get beat up too bad and then think you can go in the last round and use medicine, because it's not going to work out well for you and you're going to get pummeled. Now, the other activity he unlocks is lap races. I don't have any footage of them yet, but basically they are as they sound. They're straight up races around different parts of London. You're going to be racing other people going for good times, and they're also a lot of fun. I love the carriage racing in this game already, so if I can race people for real, it's even more fun. It's better than chase scenes, anything like that, and they're going to make you a lot of money as well. Both of these activities make you a lot of money if you can get to the 5th round in Fight Club and if you can race well in the lap race. So I would suggest both of these. Talk to Robert Topping and have some fun in the Fight Clubs and in the lap races. Now, the second activities we're going to talk about are Ned Whiners. Now, Ned opens up quite a bit of different things to do in the city, all of them involving stealing things from the Blighters, because obviously they're our main opponent in this game. Now, most of them are centered around stealing kinds of cargo, stealing money, hijacking things, stuff like that. The first one is the cargo hijack. That's the one you're seeing me do here. Basically, these small areas are going to be infested with Blighters. You're going to move in, you're going to take them all out, then you're going to hijack the cargo and take it to the drop zone. However, once you leave, more Blighters are going to come after you in other carriages. So keep that in mind, as you're going to need to drive quickly and well in order to get this to the drop zone in one piece. Now, the other activities work in a very, very similar way. There is a shipment hijack, which is as it sounds. It's very similar to this one, as well as a shipment kind of overload. It's where you get on a series of ships, you detonate some explosives, and you basically blow the Blighters out of the water. And they're all going to make you a lot of money. These are all very important, especially if you move up into higher level areas. I would highly suggest it, because even if these enemies are higher levels than you, these activities are still so easy. They don't require a guide, and honestly, you'd have to be silly not to do these. Now, the final thing we can look at here is not here, actually, I'm showing a boat hijack, but another activity you can do to make a lot of money is the train robbery. Now, this is probably the most money out of any of Ned Weiner's activities. You can make up to 3,000 euros or pounds, or I don't even honestly know what we're using in this game anymore. I guess it's probably pounds. You can make up to 3,000 pounds on the train robbery in about 30 seconds. It's so easy. You hop on the train, you press B on the front of a couple pieces of cargo, and you get off the train, and that's your money made. So all of these are very, very simple. They're honestly probably a little too easy for the amount of money you can make, but I'm not complaining. All of these activities can make you an insane amount of income, especially if you're waiting for your safe to fill up on the train. And that's really the formula. If you're not busy doing sequence missions or looking for collectibles and things like that, go ahead and just let your train bank fill up and then come do some of these activities, because you're going to be basically doubling the amount of income you have coming in depending on how quickly you do these activities. So that's really what I have to suggest. There is focus on your gang upgrades swindler tree, and focus on doing as many of these activities as you can after you talk to Ned Weiner and Robert Topping, because in the long run they're going to pay off a lot and you're going to have a lot more fun with a lot more money. Alright, so I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope this video is informative and that you enjoyed. I know a lot of you hardened veterans may already know how Assassin's Creed operates with their money-making system and things like that, but really, if you don't know where the safe is or what the gang upgrade screen is or how to unlock any of these extra activities, you're going to be in some trouble. So even along those lines, I hope that helped out at least a little bit. Be looking out for a lot more Assassin's Creed videos coming in the next few days. We're going to jump into the actual guides here coming up very, very soon, and we will see you all next time. This has been Frye from A Squad Gaming. Go out and get rich, and I will see you all next time.